Hello and welcome to all of my podcast network listeners. Whether you are downloading from Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On, or Sex and the Solo Girl, I'm so glad that you are here. Yay! I had originally planned to drop this great replay just on Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On, but I gave it another listen just this morning. And I just knew that all of my followers would want to hear it. Our recent relationship lessons features one of my closest friends and regular podcast network co-host, Jessie Maree. After my 2023 visit to New Zealand to visit her, we chatted about things that we had learned about relationships in the last year or so. It was one of the most popular episodes that year. And wow, it is an absolute chef's kiss. Mwah. It is such a good episode. It is everything you would want in a podcast. It is also pretty funny, and I just know that you will love it. Please go to Instagram and give Jessie a follow. I'll link to that in the show notes. She is just an absolute doll. I love her, love her, love her. And I kind of want to put in a side note here. I really wanted to point out that there is a relationship that I referred to in this episode as being a good one / the relationship that I was in at the time. And guess what? It ended up unraveling within maybe 2 or 3 months of us recording. And that is okay. Breakup coaches go through breakups as well. The breakup led me to record the also popular episode, quote unquote, my recent breakup lessons, which was replayed on Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On just a couple of weeks ago. So go to that show, Breakups, Broken Hearts, and Moving On, and check it out. Just scroll a little bit. This was one of the most raw and personal of any episode I've ever done. And I'm also really proud of it. I got a lot of great feedback. It was a challenge for me to come on and admit to the world that the relationship had ended. And it also gave me an opportunity to tell everyone what I had learned, and also that the things I talk about really do work. So I would really appreciate if you'd listen to that episode. Come over to Instagram and let me know what you think of any of this. And just a reminder along the same lines that I offer very powerful, very personalized support for those who are going through breakups or those who want to become more securely attached in all of their relationships. Please get in touch or go to janiceformichella.com to learn more. I would love to connect with you, even just for you to say hi and that you've listened to this. And I hope that this episode provides you support or just entertainment. Mwah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another important and special episode because I have the one, the only, my very close friend, Jessie Maree here. And this is the first time that we've seen each other on camera or face to face since I got back from Auckland 2 weeks ago. That was
it 2 weeks? Oh my gosh, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeah, feels like no time at all, but all the time.
Yeah, maybe it was 3 weeks. Anyway, I mean, the trip went by fast. Coming back I had so much to do. Oh my God.
Just the getting back.
Oh yeah. That was certainly an adventure. Getting there was an adventure. Coming back, and I actually might touch on this in this episode, and that is that I was 2-3 days delayed coming back from Auckland. It was really not the best experience, to be honest. But I stayed happy and cheerful, and I had someone special back here, help sort things for me, having no Wi-Fi, no end in sight of this horrible experience I was having. Okay, well, let's get into it. So, Jessie, it was so fun to see you in Auckland, and my listeners who listen regularly will be quite well aware that I was there because I dropped many episodes whilst I was in sunny Auckland and not posting that much on social media because I was just enjoying being with you. And that was fun. That was awesome.
It was so much fun. I had so much fun. I was just going to say, it made me like appreciate my country. It was bizarre. Like being a tourist in my own country was great.
Oh, I'm so glad that I could give you that experience. Jessie and I, we did some everyday things together. And
she helped me move house. Get your friend to come over from the States and have her help you move house. You know, it's like bonding.
Your type A friend who sees it as a game.
You like saved my life. I'm not gonna lie.
I was actually really happy to do it. I mean, that's what friends are for. It's not just about bottles of wine and Hobbiton and partying. It's also helping with when a friend is in need. So I actually thought that was kind of cool. I just regret that we didn't take any moving selfies. We got so caught up in doing
the moving.
Yeah, I mean, we did so much in one night. I cannot believe I've never moved like that before so quickly. And yeah, we totally forgot about the selfies, but that was a great experience. And like I was telling everybody, I met Jessie when I was single and I'm not even really trying to make new friends, but making new friends. And, look at us now. We now have 3-year friendship or so, met in person, traveling internationally to see each other. And also so many people have commented on the fact that I, quote, went alone, which I would not have really thought of this as a solo trip, considering that I was going to meet up with someone. But if anyone considers me to have gone alone to Auckland, and I'm putting that in quotes that no one can see, look, don't let anything hold you back. If you want to travel, if you want to do anything, have an adventure, don't let being single or not having necessarily a travel companion prevent you from doing anything. It was a great
100%. Because then, like, what a wasted life, right? Like, if you're waiting for someone. If you want to do the thing, go do it.
Go and do it. And yeah, we just had a blast. Our friendship was strengthened, and it was a big relief to, hang out in person and find out it was just as easy as we were hoping it would be.
Yes.
So we had kind of talked about doing an episode whilst I was there, but it just didn't come together. I mean, there was a lot of things that got in the way of that, which was totally fine. But we came up with the idea of doing an episode when I got back on our recent relationship lessons.
Yes. Because it came up while we were there, while you were over, right? We talked a lot about because when we met, you were single and I was in a relationship and things have sort of like flipped now a little bit.
Yep, for sure. We've had a lot go on in both of our love lives, if you will. And so I thought that this would make for some interesting content. So is there anything you want to say before we dive into it?
It's been a wild ride.
Oh my God, I love it. I have to say, for me, it hasn't been as wild. I definitely have learned things even recently that I am going to talk about, but I'm at least attempting to take the chaos out of my romantic life. So I will say it's been slow and steady, with a little huge bumps along the way.
Right.
Let's get into it, as podcasters love to say. Wow. We just did a little sidebar and paused the recording. And yes, Jessie's love life has been a wild ride.
I know. I might touch on it later in.
Okay. Well, let's do it. So we each have a few lessons from our own love lives, and we're going to chat about them. So my first one immediately came to mind. And this is something that I learned a long time ago and that I have done pretty good at keeping. In fact, last year I ended things swiftly with a couple of men when they, kind of showed their true colors in the initial days of dating, like, boom, you're done. But then I dated someone else who I did not do that with. And there's so many, various reasons. But my first lesson that I've relearned recently is when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
100%.
I have rarely seen this not be the case. And by the way, did you know that this comes from Maya Angelou? I looked it up today, just kind of curious. Full quote is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. People know themselves much better than you do. That's why it's important to stop expecting them to be something other than who they are.
Yes, I'm really bad at that. I date people's potential sometimes, and I'm like, there's so much potential there, and like, no, they've shown me what they like, and I just don't want to believe it.
Or just being too forgiving. I think if someone does something harmful, hurtful, inappropriate, they will very, very likely do it again.
It's like 90% of my relationships.
If something troubling shows up, just walk away. And I think, yes, people make mistakes and people have the ability to change, but it's just so rare. And again, harmful, hurtful, inappropriate. This is how someone will behave. And so I can see sometimes, especially if you're a bit Twitter-pated, which was definitely my situation, a second chance, maybe, but like not a third. If someone shows you this side of them, you will see it again and again.
Yeah. And I've been notorious for staying in relationships when that's happened, right? And they've shown me who they are. And I've just been like, no, we'll get through this. It's just like, we're just working through being polyamorous or like, that communication. And no, that's the same shit for like 3 years. And you're like, well, no, at some point you should have like stopped that, Jessie, because they're not changing. On the flip side, that I do have a story where someone I was seeing decided to disappear for 9 months of my life, ghosted me. They went away and did the work. They went and saw a therapist. Like they were going through some shit at the time that I didn't know about. They went away, worked through their shit, and then came back and apologized and has shown their actions and stuff have been aligned with having done the therapy and having worked on who they are as a person. So there is that, but don't expect it to happen overnight, and they have to want to do it, right? Like you can't make them.
Yep, 1,000%. And I think a couple things stand out. I mean, we're talking about 9 months. That's a significant amount of time. And also what you said is that you were not in contact with this person. So not only is that a significant amount of time, you were not staying engaged, just waiting for them to.
No, I blocked them. They ghosted me and I blocked them on everything. I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And when they reached out to get in contact again, it was just after my radiation stuff. So I wasn't really in the mood. And I did it because my partner at the time wanted to reconnect with this person. So I was like, fine, but I don't believe that this person's changed. Went round, they apologized, and like we've become really good friends again. And that's what I love, is because we had a lot of things in common. We were good friends before we were in a relationship, that now we can build on that again.
And also, you didn't try to change them, and you didn't change them. You can never change anyone. And this person changed themselves.
They realized what they were doing was hurting not only other people, but themselves. And that wasn't how they wanted to go about life. So they changed that. I had nothing to do with it. I was in the middle of getting my head radiated, like literally didn't have the spoons for anything. But that's it. Like you can't force anyone to change.
Yeah.
And
in my case,
no contact.
Yes, always no contact. If someone's going to change, they need to go off and do it on their own. In my case, it was a situation where someone tried to blame an illness for their bad behavior. And I'm not sure why this was the thing that kept me being so forgiving, but it was not the illness. They said that they were recovered and did things that were even worse. So really, truly, everybody, believe someone's behavior the very first time. And your story is a perfect segue into my other big thing. My second lesson is look at someone's actions and not their words. And what you're saying in your experience is this person said they were going to change or said that they wanted to, but then when they came back into your life, they showed you that they had.
Actually, I always say this. I hate when people apologize to me. I'm like, actions speak louder than words, right? Like
always,
particularly if it's like a repeat offense as well. Like, no, I don't believe you. You need to show me.
Yep, completely agreed. And also this goes along with love bombing, which I've told my listeners, I continue to discover that this is something that I have a weakness for. And no matter how much someone tells you they love you or tells you how amazing you are or that they've never met anyone like you, always look at their actions. For instance, I had someone tell me that they really respected my work with the podcast. And yet there were multiple times where I had conversations about the fact that I had something going on that was related to my podcast and that I couldn't stay up late. I had to be home at this certain time. I had to do this, that, the other. only, to have them turn around and completely disregard the fact that I need to sleep on a schedule. I'm trying to go home and they're trying to get me to stay up later than I said I wanted to, and saying that I'm going to be fine because I kick ass, of course you're going to kick ass. You're Janice. And just like completely like disregarding.
Where do you think I get this from? I go home and I sleep and I get decent sleep and I have a routine. That is how I am kick ass.
Yes. So this was completely, the actions were out of line with what they were saying about respecting my podcast and thinking that I'm amazing and wanting to support me. And again, it's all words, and words really don't do too much, only if they're accompanied by actions. There was this, I also run a local nonprofit, and I was also told by this person like very, very regularly how great this was and how powerful I was and how he loved being, like my partner and all of this. And then, when we would have events, just being late, not showing up. I had this party at my apartment. It was a morning thing before the Pride Parade. And I think I'm awake for 2 hours getting ready.
Yeah.
He wakes up like barely early enough to shower before everyone's rocking up.
No.
So, like that type of thing. All of his words meant nothing, especially compared to his actions.
Yeah. And like, I get that if it's not someone's thing, right? But if you're going to be in your house when you know that there's an event going on and it's something that you're passionate about, that person should also respect that, particularly if they've mentioned how awesome that is that you're doing these things, respect you enough to get the fuck up. And,
it wasn't just the sleeping. It was just like having absolutely no help, no support at all.
Totally.
It just didn't line up with anything that he had said.
No, and that's like, in a relationship, right? Like, you don't have to have the same hobbies and shit, but like, be supportive of each other.
Yes, I totally agree. And what was really cool is, so this is not just lessons about things like negative that I've learned. I'm juxtaposing this with someone I'm seeing now who does help me and show up with me having to ask very little. I had another event last weekend and I had sourced some help from some friends. And I know at one point I had called him up and said, can I ask you to do this or that? And he was full on like, I've already got a to-do list on my phone going for everything. And it was all there, like with me hardly having to ask at all. And it was wonderful. And he did every single thing that he said he was going to do. And then some.
Like, yes, the fact that he already had a to-do list and before you'd asked him for some help, like, that is amazing. Like, that's someone who gives a shit about your life and wants to make it easier. And that goes both ways, right? Like, if something's important to them, you helping them also. Like, I think that's a give and take.
I agree.
You guys are going to be spending some time together. You may as well be supportive and helpful in the best ways, because there's going to be periods of time, right, where you've got nothing on and they've got heaps on. And so, like, how can you help them? And then vice versa.
Yep. So everybody, look at someone's actions, not just what they tell you, especially in the early days of a relationship. No matter what they say, wait until you see it. After an argument, do not just take their word that they're not going to do it again. Wait and see. Yeah. This is also why I encourage people to go slow in new relationships, because you have to have time to find out if everything they're telling you is true or not, and how they're going to show up for you.
Yep.
Okay, so, another lesson. Oh, and this is also one that's actually one of my good lessons that I've learned. And that is that it is okay to take a step back. So in my current relationship, we definitely did that recently. I was not feeling myself. I was feeling overwhelmed about life. I had lots of, seasonal, like, winter blues going on. And we just, especially whilst I was in New Zealand, it was like, we need to take some time apart. I need to think things through. We had minor disagreements, but nothing major. I just really felt like I need to come back to myself outside of you, if that makes sense. And 100%. Then kind of reevaluate what's going on. So, it didn't mean that it was the absolute end of the relationship. And it was kind of challenging, I think, for both of us and confronting, but it didn't mean that it's over. It just means that it's time to reevaluate. And I think that sometimes a few months into a relationship, that can be a really good thing to do. But I just feel like people feel so confronted by that type of thing, or talking about taking a quote break or time apart, having space. And some people don't want to do that, but it's okay.
Yeah. I think because a lot of people are like, oh, that means it's going to break up, right? I always used to say that to my friends in high school when they went on breaks with their boyfriends. I was like, it just means a breakup's happening, right? Like you're just delaying what's meant to be happening. But I've got a friend currently who they de-escalated their relationship from what it was to a little less because of commitments and time and stuff. And they're still seeing each other and they're still happy. And it's not a bad thing. Like you said, it just gives you time to focus on what's important to you and know that you are a person outside of that relationship.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It says a lot about the other person, perhaps, to see how they respond to it. And, he was nothing but supportive of it. In fact, there were times when I was in New Zealand when I was like, I'd actually like to hear from him, because he was taking it so seriously. And I really, really valued that. And look, who knows what's going to happen necessarily, but it was good. It was just what I needed. It made me feel really confident. It made me trust this person more. And it's okay to take a step back.
But it's also a green flag when if you're like, hey, I need to take a step back for me. It's a green flag for them if they're going to be like, yours did. Be like, okay, cool. And take it seriously rather than be like, oh, and get like distrusting. That's always like a sign that something's not right. Yeah. So I'm glad that it's gone that way for you.
Yes. And I think also just continuing to take it slow. Just because you've been with someone for 6 months does not mean that it's time to move in, does not mean that it's time to spend the night every single night. You can still continue to tread lightly if that's what's feeling good to you.
Yes.
There's all different types of relationships and there's all different types of how things turn out.
No relationship is the same, I find. And like what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person. And that's totally fine. We're all different human beings at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Like,
as a general rule, though, that slower is
100%. I'm not saying go and get married after being together for 2 months. Don't recommend.
It's
you laugh, but I know someone I know through someone else. I know someone that's done that recently. So I think they've been with this woman like 2 or 3 months, and they just got married the other day.
Wow. Yep. I hear about it kind of all the time. And
I'm like, but how do you don't even know this person yet?
Yeah, to each their own, I suppose. This is no judgment zone, but
if you do, you never know circumstances and stuff, but I feel like personally, you don't know that person.
In my experience as a coach, I have seen few relationships, and in my personal life as well, I have seen few relationships really stand the test of time and really be like good friends and healthy and passionate and joyful, and when it went that fast.
Yeah. Because you're still in NRE at that stage, right? You're still like everything's amazing and that person can do no wrong and it's fabulous. So you kind of have your blinders on for things that may not be tolerable to you, or they may not actually be who they say they are.
I wonder what it is that makes people want to move things so quickly. Because for me, I'm in kind of I'm in a pretty good place with this person right now. And for me, continuing to kind of take things slow and see each other a couple times a week, I feel like I'm spreading that out and continuing to build trust. So I'm not sure that I really understand the urgency.
As someone who has moved quickly in relationships before, insecurity, the not want to be alone thing is a big thing. Like I know in my past relationships, I've moved very quickly. My last partner and I moved in, I think we've been dating for 3 months and I moved in, but they were going to have shoulder surgery, right? So it was going to be like I was there to kind of help them out a little bit as well. And then COVID happened and we had lockdown. So like that was very intense very quickly and it wasn't supposed to be. But in the past, like sometimes it's just been easier because we're seeing each other every day, or like
my last relationship in Australia was really quick, and it was just because it just felt so good,
right? Yeah,
but
so it happens.
I've learned that was maybe like a less evolved version of myself because it fucking blew up in my face, like a few months later. So
no, I'm like, take it slow, like here for that, just enjoy it. And I like going forward now, like even with like the moving thing, like moving in with someone, firmly believe that going forward for myself personally, if I was to move in with someone again, I would want my own room. I'd want my own space. There is no way I would move into a 1-bedroom apartment. I'd be like, no, we need to have our own spaces.
And I feel the same way. And that's like, a known thing for me. And I know that for myself. And that's so far down the line. I can't even imagine. But yes, we could maybe do an episode on cohabitation. And another episode, if anyone had a pandemic romance, I would love to hear from you. I think that would actually be Jessie's putting her hand up. I think that could actually make for a pretty interesting conversation. So please hit me up. My next relationship lesson, and we can kind of just touch on this, the good times don't make up for the really bad times. So I just think if it's such a roller coaster of a relationship and there's fights and then there's, an amazing week and then something horrible, I don't think that it's worth it. Having bad times that are as intense as the good times is, I don't think, the makings of a healthy relationship.
No. And often it's a way of controlling someone because I often ask I've actually been having this conversation with someone recently and they're going through some relationship stuff with this person. And I was like, do you love them? And they're like, well, yeah, not. So I don't think I asked them if they love them, but I sort of asked them around that sort of conversation. And I was like, they seem to be giving you more grief and bad times than they seem to be giving you good times. And the good times may be amazing, right? Like the good times may be mind-blowing and make you forget about the bad times, but the bad times are more regular. Yeah. Or no.
Well, and I also think relationships are work sometimes.
100%.
But they should not be hard work all the time.
No, it shouldn't be a fight all the time. You may not be fighting, but it shouldn't be up shit creek without a paddle.
Yes. And a lot of people, though, do put it in those terms that it takes work. I mean, how often do we say that? But what do people think that actually means? That doesn't mean that you're having constant disagreements and huge fights. I mean, there's a level of arguments that really is toxic and dysfunctional. And I think that we are raised in Western society to have images in pop culture where couples are having these explosive things going on and then coming back together even more passionately. And that's it's toxic. It's sometimes super abusive behavior. And it's not what we're here on earth to do.
But it's also not sustainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
At all. And I get it because it's passion. That's what they're trying to show is you have these big passionate fights. Yes. And then you have these big passionate makeup sessions. And it's so polarizing and exhausting.
It keeps you out of whack. It keeps your nervous system constantly out, like I said, completely out of whack. You never know if you're safe or not. And that is not what a relationship is for. Especially when you just you can be single and be way happier.
Right. I'm not saying discussions are good. Disagreeing with each other is good because you're the flip side of that is never having arguments is also a sign of worry because one of you is not saying what you think.
Yes. Disagreements are between two people are very that's
healthy.
What it means. That's what
volatile fights are not,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. My last lesson that I wanted to talk about, which this is something that I kind of already knew, but that in preparation for this episode, I did definitely had this aha moment. And that is, if you are attracting the same negative qualities in new partners, it is probably best to walk away. I have found that I consistently attract the same type of dude. And that is normally a musician, someone with a definite bad boy vibe, somebody who moves really fast, someone who's kind of intense. I noticed that lots of my boyfriends dress the exact same way. And and also show up in very, very similar ways in the beginning. And even after taking several years off of dating, I found that the first person I was with it was just so classic Janice. And and then I found that not only was he my classic type, but there was lots of the same negative qualities. So I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I think also yes, walk away, but also look at why you're attracting that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's all fair and well to be I'm attracting the same qualities in people, but why? Why do you keep attracting that same type of person, right? And I know I attract broken people because I'm a people pleaser an empath, and I like to try and fix people. I see the potential in people, so therefore I often attract broken people, friends and intimate relationships included, right? Like, we're not talking, and I just want to try and help everyone. I want everyone to have amazing lives, and I want to help. And so often damaged people come my way because I put out that aura of like wanting to like just help everyone.
You do that. It's a wonderful quality to have as a human, to want to be useful and helpful for people and want to elevate people. But yes, when it comes to your partners, and I think that is something to look at. You know, you said, you can't fix anybody.
I need to acknowledge, like it attracts all types of people. It doesn't just attract broken people. But I tend to attract broken people, and then I tend to date them because I see the potential and I try and help them. And sometimes I do that with friends. But like, I know that now, and I go, okay, well, if this person is showing signs of being mentally unwell or like whatever, but they're not doing anything to help themselves, like they're not going and seeing like, I'm not perfect. I see a therapist.
And everyone, I'm not either. I never want it to seem like I'm shitting on everybody. And
no, like, I'm not perfect. I've done some shitty things. Like everyone does. We're not perfect. We're human. But I know that there's a certain type of people that I can't help, and those are the ones that won't help themselves. And those are ones that I generally tend to fall for.
But now, knowledge is power.
Now I know not to.
I was actually having a conversation with a friend of the show, Jackie Brubaker, the other day about this exact thing, about my ex and my current partner. And she was asking, why I think that I do that, which is attract men who are going to love bomb, men who say they love me after like a week. And I'm like, I just know this is my pattern and I just want to move on. And she like kept on kind of pushing the point, why? And I felt very uncomfortable, to be honest, being put on the spot, and which made me feel like maybe I should lean into it a bit. And she said, I feel like you've never gotten like really the respect and attention and validation from your family and the people who should be giving that to you, as accomplished as you are. And so when you start to feel that, it draws you in.
Yep. And it's all attachment styles, right? Let's, boil it back down to that. It's not that it's something that was missing in your childhood.
Yeah.
Like for me, I was the one that was always helping and always making life, like just trying to make life easy for everyone else in my family.
Oh, wow. Oh my God.
So why do you think I keep attracting them?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, it's so juicy.
Yeah. And so you were missing the validation and the love and the support from your family. So no wonder you attract these men that love bomb you and give you that and tell you straight away and want to move fast. It makes sense, right? We innately, like subconsciously, there is programming in us that is like, we didn't get what we needed, or we had to handle life a certain way. So we start attracting people like that. So run.
No. Yes, run, walk away. And also I would encourage you to maybe sit down and make a list. So that's what I did. And this is extremely vulnerable of me, but some of the things that are some of the negative things that I tend to attract or be drawn to is, again, someone who wants to move really fast, someone who doesn't have a lot of friends, love bombing, someone who can be really unkind in the heat of the moment. And I'm, again, this is very vulnerable of me, but I've attracted lots of people with addiction issues.
Same.
I'm still kind of unpacking that, but it's something that I now really have my radar open to.
I was always like, I want the dark and mysterious guys, the charming guys that like romanticized that, like, oh, I'm dark and mysterious and there's something about them and you're like attracted to them and there's that spark. I learned later on in my like mid-20s, that's a narcissist.
Okay. Because
not all the time, but a lot of the ones I would date.
Dark and mysterious. How does that, in your experience,
equate sometimes they would just toxicity? Be like, really, they would just be aloof and all about themselves. If we look at it in reality, they're all like talk about them, like, like they would look like they were interested in you and like keeping you interested, but you knew very little about them, like about them really. You knew surface level, but you didn't know them.
Okay. Yep. That describes my abuser to a T.
Yeah. A lot of my partners have had addiction as well. I don't know why. And again, maybe it's because I think I can fix people,
I am a very exuberant person, and I like intense people, over the top people. And I do know that in my experience, a lot of people with addiction issues are like have a high level of intensity and appear to have, a high zest for life because they're intense. Everything they do is so over the top. And I think that's part of it. The other parts, I'm not entirely sure, but it's been a pattern of mine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been illuminating and really fun so far. So let's take a quick commercial break and we'll come back and talk about some of Jessie's lessons.
Put that in your outcuts.
What is your attachment style? Do you consider yourself anxious, avoidant, or does it change depending on the circumstances? Would you like to become securely attached and learn how to show up as the best version of yourself in all of your relationships? My program, Becoming Securely Attached, is a 3-month intensive designed to help you look at your current patterns and triggers, pinpoint what will most help you work on them, and then intentionally develop an action plan to create new ways of doing things. And guess what? I just started offering free first sessions to give you a look at how I work and determine if we are a good fit for each other. You can book one using the link in the show notes or by heading to janiceformichella.com. And remember, I'm always available on Instagram if you want to chat. I look forward to hearing from you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're having such a blast. It's just making me wish that we were going to be hanging out in person this weekend.
I know. I'm going to have to come to look at coming over and seeing you.
Oh, yes, everybody. Let's sign a petition. Getting Jessie to
sign a petition. I was like, here's a GoFundMe.
We're probably not going to go there.
No, I was kidding. I
totally know that. Okay, everybody, I knew that she was joking.
No, thank you. I can fund myself, but petition for me to come over, sure.
Yeah, you can, because you're a badass bitch.
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty sure I can get into the States. Yes. I've been to the States before. I'm joking.
I know. Okay, again, jokes.
I'm not a criminal. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so let's get on with our recent relationship lessons. Jess, want to take the lead here?
I love that I wrote something jokingly in here, and I'm not going to say it because it's just mean. But again, it just I guess it reiterates on the fact, just believe people when they say, it's like they show you who they are because they're not wrong. And that happened to me, again, it touches on that, people telling you you're amazing and I love spending time with you and blah, 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 but I don't know. I want more than you. I found a lot of because I'm polyamorous and I'm sort of I am single, and I'm just dating at the moment. When I'm loving it. When I've been dating guys,
for you.
I know, I love this for me too. It's the first time I've been single in a while, properly single, and I'll talk about that. Yeah. But these men seem to think that I've been seeing them for a little bit, on and off, and nothing serious is happening. And I've said I have zero expectations. All I need is communication on where we're at, right? I don't need a relationship escalator. I don't need us to be girlfriend, boyfriend. I don't need to move in with you. I don't need to XYZ. Often with polyamory, there's a lot of people who are already in relationships anyway, and I seem to have got involved with that. The thing I'm finding though is these men, even though I've told them that I don't have any expectation, seem to think I want to be in a relationship with them and freak out. And then are oh, I can't do this. I can't give you what you need, blah, blah, blah. And I'm bold of you to assume what I need. I have been told this. I can't give you what you need. I think you want more from me, blah, blah, blah. And usually they're married. This has happened.
I was just going to say the construct of marriage does this to people. I have had multiple clients in this exact situation recently, and I've been in it myself recently, and it's kind of crazy. I almost want to do some study or something on this.
Right.
It's a dynamic that has come up in my practice and my personal life
It's like they freak out because things are going well and they're like, oh, I like this person, but oh shit, I can't do this because like whatever reason they can't do it.
But I think
and then they come back to me later and being like, oh, I overthought that, you didn't want that, did you? And I was like,
marriage comes with a set of expectations that is just entirely different than a relationship that doesn't involve that type of framework.
Yeah.
And I think someone who's been in that framework for a certain amount of time finds it hard to adapt, if finds it hard to do things differently, finds it hard to do things without this framework, and finds it hard to relate to someone romantically without the relationship escalator and without what marriage brings with it. And it can be challenging for them, but a lot of the time it's going to become too much and they might, feel inferior because they're not giving everything that they give to their spouse, even though
I'm not asking
what a lot
for
of
that.
people want. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the whole point of polyamory, right? Like open, polyam, non-mono, whatever you want to, like whatever you identify with. I don't need that. I'm quite capable of getting what I need, A, from myself, which I'm working on, and B, from my friends, and C, other people that I've been seeing and stuff. Like, bold of you to assume that I need you to be my one person.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And that's what I said to someone, because they actually were like, oh, you need, I can see that you need stability and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yes, I do need these things. However, I'm going to give them to myself.
Yay.
I am going to be my stable person. I don't need someone else in my life for me to be stable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm working on that because as someone who's never really been single and has never really wanted to be alone because it scares the hell out of her, it's hard work. And there is a lot of time where I want to fall back into just, not that. But why do they just assume that I want something more than I want? And not talking to me about it,
and I was just gonna say, without even talking about it. And I think when you have non-traditional relationships, the best thing you can do is talk and talk some more.
All I ask for is communication. Yeah. All I ask, and I really feel like that's like a very low bar. Like bare minimum, you should communicate, regardless of what relationship style you practice.
Yeah,
mono, non-mono, whatever, communication. So yeah, that's my experience currently. However, I just started, so I'm sort of wary because I'm on Field and I love-hate relationship with Field.
Yeah, so let's just pause really quick. So Field is one of our favorite dating apps. And
yes.
It attracts, I don't know what their mission statement is, but it's, non-traditional individuals, and it's a safe space.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually think I have it up. I was looking at it the other day, but I don't know where it's gone.
I had a great experience on Field. I'm not on there right now, but I was briefly last year, and I thought it was great. I met really cool people, and it was definitely the place for me.
So this is I've just pulled because I've got their website open because I was looking at jobs with them. Our values: we believe in creating an inclusive environment for honest expression and safe exploration, which I think is amazing. Like, I'm here for this.
And also, yes, if Field is listening, please get in touch with me on Janice Formichella on Instagram because I want you to sponsor my podcast. So, all right, go on.
But yeah, like I kind of, like when I scroll through Field now, I very much avoid and I say young married couples. So anything from like 27 through to 35, married couples that have just opened their relationship. It's a personal preference because it's a lot of work. Like if you want to be a unicorn, go for gold. I'm here for it. Like if you're looking for a unicorn and you happen to find one ethically, awesome. Go and have your threesome, have lots of fun. It's the ones that are like, we date separately, and if you're keen, we can play together. But you know that they've just opened their relationship and they're still dealing with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I've been burned a few times before, and it's hard. So I'm actually talking to someone at the moment who is married, and they've been different so far.
Okay.
And I've said to them, look, same age bracket.
Gotcha. Oh.
But I've said to him from the get-go, I've said, hey, look, I've been burned a couple of times by married men, like because of XYZ, because it's a newly opened relationship and you guys are dealing with those emotions, which are totally valid. Like opening a relationship that was monogamous to begin with and dating separately and all that stuff is going to bring up a whole bunch of shit.
It's a huge undertaking, and like props to people who in the end make it work because it's work.
that for me in dating, right, is like being very clear with these people who are married, being like, hey, look, this is cool. I just need, again, clear communication, and not to be like, oh, the partner has, because I date both men and women, so I don't want to be like the wife has, like the other significant other has freaked out and we need to close up.
Yeah.
And not taken my,
well, I think that what you're saying is that that's a lesson that you learned, is that for you, it can't be a newly open couple.
No, exactly. And that's my lesson, right? Like, and there's nothing wrong with learning and stuff. And like, I get it. Growth is a thing that we continue to do. But for me, I'm very aware of like that being a thing. And so I often will say if I do match with someone who is married now, I will say, hey, look, that's cool, but I just need you to like keep me in the loop. Like if something's going on or you guys need to take a step back, like just talk to me about it. Cause like I'm a pretty chill person. Again, I don't expect you to freaking propose next week. Like calm down.
But again, going back to taking things slow, no matter what the concept of the relationship is.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one I guess I've been doing is sometimes it's best to just put things to an end.
I'm really glad that you were the one who decided to bring this up as a breakup coach. I was glad that someone else who has been relationship friendly for a lot of her adult life. I'm really happy that you decided that you wanted to talk about this. So tell us about it.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, this is the first time in my life I've been properly single. I've always jumped from relationship to relationship, but that's another story. But sometimes it's like you just have to end things. And that was like my last significant partner who we lived together. We were engaged. You know, at some point we had to just call it quits because it wasn't working. They had stuff going on, I had stuff going on, and there was no point trying to like force stuff to happen, particularly when your needs are not being met. Because I got another friend and they just had a breakup recently because her and her girlfriend, she was giving a lot of effort, like emotional effort and a lot of stuff, but the other girlfriend wasn't and couldn't because they were dealing with their own stuff being, I don't want to get into it, it's not my business to discuss, but like they couldn't give my friend the attention and the emotional stuff that she needed. So they had to call it, right? And sometimes it's better to do that because like you deserve, or I deserve, the energy and effort that I put in. You know, I want to receive that back. So, and if it can't, you may as well, like, why stay in something that's not making you happy? It's the whole point of relationship.
Agree. Yes, and I think that deciding or wanting to leave is as good of a reason as any, and you're not obligated to stay with anyone for any reason.
No, and I get it. I get why we do, because like it's easier or it's convenient or you've been with this person for so long, you may as well just make it work. But why? At what expense? You know? And so I'm learning that one.
Good. And I think for you possibly, and for many people, it's just like the not knowing of how this is going to work on your own can be something that people just don't even want to look at. And so not that it's necessarily easier because people stay in very unhappy relationships, but that at least you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. When I say easier, I mean like in terms of moving and financials and
convenience,
like, comfort, you know, like it's something that is, you know, like for me, it was huge because it meant being financially independent. It meant starting again. It meant not having someone to come home to and have that physical comfort. And I'm a very driven human being. So it was comfortable to stay in these relationships that didn't work, not because the relationship was good, but because I got everything else I needed taken care of.
Yeah. And I actually saw where Jessie used to live. And I'm very proud of you for making such a big choice for yourself.
Right. Because isn't it freaking beautiful?
Yeah, kind of. Like it made me really respect you that I knew that you had walked away from that. And I'm so, so, so proud of you as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and like we're still friends. Like we managed to salvage like what we do like about each other and what we can give each other by doing that. He is going on to work on himself and he needed that time to not have to worry about a relationship. And I'm glad that because he was the one that broke up with me because I was just going to do my thing of comfort and stay in it for longer. And he called it. He was like, no, I need to go and work on myself and I can't be responsible for another a partner, and I can't keep hurting you. So like, it was a very mature thing on his part. Did it hurt? Yes, but like, yeah, it was nice.
And
it's okay.
Free of a lot of that drama. So I'm happy for you.
It's like a weight off my shoulders I didn't know I had.
I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know how your experience was with this, but being single is like readjusting to like a world that favors couples privilege and being alone, like versus being alone, right? Like,
yeah.
I go to the supermarket and everything's made for like 2 people or a family. Mm-hmm. Very rarely do you get single serving anything. Like meat, I'm talking about, like when you go to the butchers or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So it's a big adjustment, especially if you haven't been single for a long time.
Yes. Mm. Yeah, I'd heard about it. Like I'd heard friends talk about it, but I'd been like, oh, well, like, okay. But I'd never been affected by it. And now I'm like, oh, and like insurance is cheaper and stuff. And like, there's just things that I hadn't realized.
There's many things. I want to really do more episodes on X-Files about it. It's something that I'm quite interested in. We've got couples privilege. We've got singleism as well. And these are things that affect a lot of people, but they're also things that really fly under the radar. If you've been single for a while, you might not fully see it. If you're in a relationship, you certainly don't see it, at least not very clearly. And it's something that I've seen a lot, having been single for quite a while. And yeah, it's not easy to go from long-term relationship to being single.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's not worth it in the end.
Again, being single is a choice. You don't have to be in a relationship. And I think our society has led us to be like, that's the thing you do, right? Is you find your person, you love them, and you get married and you have babies. And that is the whole purpose of life, is to find your person and have babies with them. Which, if we go back millions of years, I mean, it was a survival thing. It wasn't.
Kind of, but if we were so meant to be with someone else, why are we born alone?
Exactly. You die alone too. So
exactly. I'm really glad that you brought this up. And I just wanted to kind of shout out to the listeners who are kind of thinking about these things for the first time. Do you encourage couples privilege and singleism? So think to yourself, these are things that come up in everyday conversations. Do you endorse or advocate the idea that it is better to be in a relationship than be single? A lot of people might not realize that they do this, but you do. People are constantly talking about how no one wants to be single, or, of course, so-and-so must be looking, or, hopefully someday they'll find someone, and as though that's the end goal. And it's not for everybody.
No, I'm dating. But I'm dating to have fun and to meet people and people who add to my life. Have I got the expectation of like getting back into a long-term relationship? Not really, not at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. But I think that there's some of us who are single at heart, which is a concept that I've learned recently. And like, we're okay either way.
Oh, I've got a friend who is it demi-romantic or no, aromantic. So there's asexual, right? I found out that aromantic is a thing. So she is a sexual human being. She wants to have sex, but she does not want to have a relationship. So
love it. Okay,
aromantics are a thing.
Okay, let's do some content on this. Another way that you may be encouraging couples privilege or singleism. Do you assume that the single people in your life are looking for a relationship or dating? And think long and hard about this, because as someone who was single for many years, I cannot tell you the amount of times that people asked me if I'm dating, or asked me how I meet people, or encouraged me to get out there, or kind of made this assumption about me that was so off my reality. And so think to yourself about someone single. Do you assume that that's what they want? Have you ever used the words, "no wonder they're single"?
I have. Guilty.
I mean, there's a difference between someone who is single and happy and perhaps someone who's really actively looking and can't quite seem to ever make it work. But for me, I've heard this said about people who I don't think we're even looking. So why are we using single as an insult? Oh, they're kind of a mess. No wonder they're single. Excuse me?
I mean, I was a mess and in relationships. So.
Exactly. It's an insult, and it's making it seem like being single is somehow less than. And last, have you ever asked a single person if they are seeing someone? I know that this seems really benign and that it seems really innocent, but like, why would you ask that?
Yeah, it's almost like asking a couple that have just got married, when are you having babies?
Totally. And I was thinking that earlier when I was putting this list together. Like why would they? You know,
or if they've been in a relationship for however many years, like when are you getting married?
Yep.
You know, like you don't know what this person.
You are assuming that this is the higher goal or the ultimate way to be.
Yeah.
And it's
because what do you ask after you've had babies? Like, I just curious, like, you know, after you've had babies, do people stop asking you questions? Do they stop being like, what's the next thing? Like, when are you having grandkids? That's not up to you, firstly.
When are you I mean, yeah, I don't even think when it comes to that I often hear people even asking, are you going to have more? It's kind of like you just kind of leave it at that, you know?
Right. And then you have two and they're like, oh, you want to have more? Like, when does this flip? When did this flip? Like,
I loved messing with people when I was just decidedly single. Loved it. People would be like, so how do you meet people? Like, are you online? And I'm like, no. Well, because like, how do you date? I'm like, I don't. And at people's faces, like they could not comprehend. It was so much fun. And
I'm just gonna, yeah.
It was great. I'm very happy now not being single, but it helped me to learn a lot about society, and I want to do more content on this. So anyone in the audience who has experience or something to say about couples privilege or singleism, please let me know.
Yes. And that brings us to my final lesson, which I think everyone can learn from, right? Is like having a great support network around you.
Say more.
Yeah. Say more about that. Well, when you're going like, and I said here in breakups, but even in relationship, like having support people who will let you just be, who will let you cry and process your emotions and distract you when you need it. And then also having those people that you can turn to talk about the stuff and get advice from, but knowing which people are which and knowing not to overburden them. I often ask my friends now.
Go on.
Yeah. We're often like, can I trauma dump on you? Like, are you okay if I dump on you? And
everybody pay attention to this.
Yeah, right.
You got to have consent when you unload on someone.
Consent is like mandatory, like bare minimum consent and communication. But yeah, ask your friends that. Like, you don't know what they've got going on. Everyone's got something going on. So don't just start messaging them about X, Y, Z, particularly if they're friends with the person you're talking about as well. Like, they may not have the capacity to hear you. So just ask them, be like, hey, do you have time to talk about this? Like, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah,
and
that's a really good lesson. It can really be hard on the other person, especially if they want to be there for you, but in the moment they are not emotionally equipped for this.
Yeah,
and I have someone do it to me recently, and it crushed me to not be able to do it. But it just couldn't. If
you don't have the space, you're not going to be good support for them anyway. Do you know what I mean? So I'm that go-to person again. I'm that person that everyone feels safe around.
Because she's so warm and welcoming and friendly. And
so I have to start just being an asshole. Is that what you're saying? And people will just stop like wanting to tell me the bullshit.
You have a very opening or a very welcoming energy about you.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah, but it's nice, right? Like, it's nice to, and if I ask, it means people will ask. Or if I have friends, like, and I've done it before, like we do occasionally just dump and then apologize. I'm often like, oh shit, sorry, I just dumped on you and I shouldn't have. And usually it's fine. And if they don't have the capacity to deal with it, or like if I send, because I usually, if I'm dumping, will send a voice message, it's a lot easier. And then I'll type a message afterwards and be like, shit, that was a dump. If you don't have the capacity, don't listen to it. Like,
yeah, maybe doing it in reverse could be.
Usually reverse is the better option. No. Usually in the reverse, I'm like, hey, and then dump once I've got permission. Yes. But sometimes, like, I've got a couple of friends where it's okay to do that the other way around, but we have that friendship.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that the two of us are really good at, is we definitely like give each other a heads up before calling or getting on the phone or waiting. Like considering, I think it's interesting, considering the time zone thing, it's helped us to like get into some healthy habits. Yeah, you should have with everybody, and that is, this has happened. When can you talk? Or I'm going through this. It's really heavy. I'm a mess. Can you let me know when you're free? Type of thing.
So, and on the flip side of that, like as the person receiving, I will often be like, okay, what do you want from me? Do you want me to listen? Do you want support, or do you want advice?
Oh, that's
because they're all very different things.
Yeah.
Do you want me to be on board with you having a bitch and a moan and be like, yeah, that person's an asshole, blah, blah, blah? Do you want me to be like, yeah, but here's what I would do? Or do you just want me to listen and not even say a fucking thing? Just give you space to just let it all out.
Yeah, I like
because
that
some people, myself, can be guilty of trying to solve the problem for people. And really all they needed was your support. And I had that recently, not with a relationship, but with like a friendship thing blew up. And all I needed from my friends was, that's shit. I'm sorry that this is happening to you. It's totally valid. But they jumped to the defense of someone else, third party. And we're like, they were probably just trying to stay mutual and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I know that. I'm not stupid. All I needed was for your support right now.
Yeah, I think it's as equally important to learn how to listen as it is to learn how to ask for support. And it's just something, I mean, we have to go online and learn about these things. I know how to do this because I am a life coach.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think people would be so naturally inclined to jump in there and try to make you feel better by validating the other person, when really that's the last thing you need. Nor did you ask for that, nor did you consent to that. But these aren't bad people. This is just what we're used to. And everybody read Nonviolent Communication. That's a great resource for learning how to receive communication as well as give it. And also, I think just being communicative before you open up an intense or sensitive conversation. It's something that takes practice, but once you get into the habit of it, it's actually pretty easy, and you automatically do it.
Yeah. And I found, like, I've been coaching on that recently, like with relationship stuff. If people have got stuff going on and they want to communicate with their other partner, I'm like, yes, that's awesome. Maybe communicate with them first that you want to talk to them so they're prepared. Because the worst thing you can do, because imagine how that would feel, right? Like if your person that you care about comes along and just is like, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. Like, people get defensive. I get defensive. Letting the person know and being like, hey, I've got some stuff I want to talk to you about, nothing like super major, but like there's just been a few things that have come up for me, and giving that person time to adjust. So important.
Yep, agreed. And I'm so glad that you do have good support around you. And I'm glad that I have you for support. And this was a fun episode.
It was. I loved it. Yeah.
Me too. Anything else that you want to leave our listeners with?
No, nothing that isn't cheesy. Like, just have fun.
Well, I was going to say, everybody just remember that dating and relationships are about gathering data, and, life is a journey. And I think the two of us are really good at relationships, and still it is so important to take everything as a learning lesson, both to grow and improve, and perhaps even help others to do the same.
Yeah.
We're doing today.
Yeah, I think so. And you're always going to be learning. It's always going to happen. So.
Always be learning.
I know. Always be learning. I'm going to get that on a t-shirt. Always be learning.
All right. Well, thank you everyone who joined today. If you loved this episode, please let Jessie and I know by leaving me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I am trying to get a certain amount of reviews before my birthday. I'm kind of keeping it to myself because I think sometimes it's putting certain things out into the universe and certain things publicly is good. I'm just letting everyone know. I'd appreciate your help.
What percentage are you at? Instead of the number, like how far through are you?
I'm pretty far, like probably 65%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. So yes, head over to Apple Podcasts. Let us know what you thought of this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Yay! Bye.
Bye.